question. Let's bring everyone else in here now. And we're going to talk about your most dramatic workplace experiences. Have you ever quit? I want to hear about it. Have you ever been fired? I want to hear about that. Or maybe there's a mistake you'll never make again in the workplace. Hey, I'm going to start with you. You have had so many jobs. I'm sure you've got to have a story in there somewhere.
I once was on a live show where they were not supposed to come to me for ages. I was 20 minutes away from my live hit, but my mic was on, and for some reason they did come to me. I was at a gym. We were doing exercises, so I was really sweaty. I was huffing and puffing. I swore, and no one told me, even like the camera person, the PA that was there helping me out, and I was just like, they cut it away because I was actually like, what are we doing here? Like, that's not even the right place. I wasn't speaking to the camera at all. And then afterwards, I get a text from my producer. She was laughing. She said, by the way, you were up. And I said, no one told me. She goes, well, you swore. And she goes, but actually, she goes, you just looked really awful.
Oh boy, have I made that mistake about a gazillion times. At this point, I'd have to do something really, really awful on air for me to be embarrassed, because I've lost the embarrassment gene. Shobana, how about you? Any dramatic workplace experiences you want to share?
Yeah, so imagine this, I'm 25, I'm not married, I've completely obliterated my parents' dream of becoming a doctor, but I did get a position. I got a position as a marketing specialist at a firm with a pension, but it was a toxic environment, and so at one point I was offered the package or back to the toxic environment, and much to their dismay, I took the package. And I mean, they were freaked out, but it was the best thing that I ever did because I'm here now and I was able to actually start my career that way. They're proud now. And now my dad tells the stories like when she was born, I could just tell she was going to become an expert. I'm like, yeah, Dad.
Right? Okay, Randy, I want to hear about you flipping a table or flipping someone off or, telling the whole room they can go to heck. Like what? Give me a dramatic workplace story.
The reason why you don't see that many open kitchens, there's a reason for it. They usually put the glass in there because you don't want to feed or hear the animals in the kitchen. And I remember one particular customer, nothing could go right for her. And she ordered the beef carpaccio and she sent it back and asked for it well done. And one, chef in the kitchen with big nice hair had a bit of a temperament, and he grabbed a plate and he started dropping bombs everywhere, and he threw the plate into the salamander and a few more F-bombs and things like that, and then throws it back to the server. The server burnt their hand on the plate and screamed it. And anyways, it was in. Yeah, it just gets worse. It gets worse. They burn their hand, and they finally wrap up the bar towel, take the plate out, and the customer had heard the entire thing. Needless to say, there was a big staff training the following week about open kitchens and appropriate behavior and vocabulary.
See, you never disappoint me, Randy. Thank you for that. Dr. Dixon, I feel like you've always been a boss, but have you ever been in a situation where there's been some drama?
Before I was a boss, there was a time where one of my colleagues was not happy with me, and I was in my office reviewing my blood work, and I had another doctor who was training with me, and then I had a receptionist and some nurses. And the doctor came over in the middle of the day, and there were patients in the wait room, and that particular doctor actually walked in and said, "I'm glad you're all here." Like that. And then she said, "I know. You're ruining my life." You're like a full meltdown that was almost like if someone, is this kind of camera? Is this not real? Because it was really loud. And then everybody was looking at me. One of my nurses, who's very meek, she had a vein in the middle of her forehead that kept started to twitch. And I'm like, this is probably not the right forum for this discussion. Maybe we can take it aside and leave the rest of the people out of it. She goes, "No, I want to talk about this now." Inside, I was a little trembly, but outside, I was like, no, this is probably not the appropriate forum. Anyway, calmed down, then stormed off. And then I looked around the room and goes, "Is everyone okay?" And everybody was, but it was just one of those and then one of my colleagues said, "Personally, I might have shoved her out the door." And I said, "No, you gotta be calm." Yeah, it's
Handled
like
like a
grown-ups can be
true
like high school.
Capricorn. I love it. Dr. Dixon. Okay, last but not least, we need the career coach to talk to us about a workplace drama. Sarah, you're up.
Yeah, well, I guess the biggest drama for me is I had a full-on public breakdown when I realized I had to leave a job in the middle of a crowded Starbucks, like tons of people everywhere. Felt like I was outside of my body watching it unfold, like really embarrassing public breakdown.
Wow.
And I gave notice the next day. It was like crazy. One of the worst experiences of my life for sure.
Listen, everyone, thank you so much for sharing. Oh, I love the story.